All right, guys. So, welcome back to the channel. Remember to like and subscribe for sweet diesel content and other content and whatever. So, today's video, uh, I bought an '06 Dodge Ram Mega Cab. I'll turn the camera here so you can see it. So there she is, right there. So the reason I bought it is because I got a great deal on it, and we all know that great deals in diesel is a relative term because it's the amount of great deal you get is the amount of work you're willing to put into fixing whatever the problems are. So a little history on this truck: it was purchased. I'm the third owner. Purchased by an old lady, uh, a lady farmer. She used it to tow horses and cattle around a little bit. Bought it from a friend of mine who had the CP3 pump replaced, and then it dropped three injectors, and he was in the mental space that a lot of people get into with a truck with some problems, or something goes wrong and it just becomes this cascading house of cards effect. So he had it fixed, new CP3 pump. Obviously not cheap. He's not a mechanic, so he didn't have the ability to do it himself. So he got it fixed, and then 3 days after he put the new CP3 pump in, it dropped three injectors. Now, those three injectors could have been going out forever. Those three injectors could have had already gone out, and they just weren't all the way out. I don't know. So I just replaced all six injectors in it. I put a new turbo on it. Another problem with the truck that he wasn't aware of was the turbo was about blown out of it. It had a lot of play in the shaft, and it just wasn't doing very well at all. So the point of today's video is when you are getting into a truck and you buy a used diesel motor, there's a couple of videos. Thoroughbred Diesel put one out on this series of Dodge trucks, the third gen with the common rail, where they talked about all the things you need to check. And this motor doesn't have any blow by. It's just got injection issues. It's got fuel system issues. But go watch that video. It's a great video on what to look for in. I think they've done it just about all the trucks. 5, 9 with the VP44, which would have been second gen. I think they did it with a 12 valve, and I know they did it because I watched the video for these. I specifically watched the video for the third gen trucks. A great video. Wade at Thoroughbred Diesel does a really good rundown of what you should check and what to look for. But on this pump, when they did it, the thing you need to be aware of is when you get into these diesel trucks, if you cannot perform the work yourself, if you're not technically sufficient at doing the work, or you're just not willing to do the work, and for some things, like I've talked about it in other videos where I don't have a machine shop in my garage, and I'm not a machinist, so I'm not going to sit in here and blow my elbow out and my shoulder out trying to hone a cylinder on a motor that's 300, 400,000 miles, and it's got all kinds of grooves at the top, and it just needs all kinds of work. I'm not going to sit here and waste my entire life polishing a crank or a camshaft. I'll take it to a machinist and pay them what they ask to be paid and within reason, and I'll get quality work that's down to a micron. That's what you need that anyway, so you might as well go pay somebody to do the rest. And then taking the motor in and out of the truck, I do that, tearing it down, taking the accessories off. When I get the motor back, I will put the accessories back on myself. Timing a motor is not that hard. The first time you do it, it's a little weird, a little scary, because your frame of reference, unless you have an experienced mechanic that's done that on that specific motor, can be a little nerve-wracking. You watch a boatload of YouTube and you get it right, and you hope it fires off and doesn't throw a piston through the side of the motor or through the hood. Those are valid concerns for anyone doing their own work. Now, that being said, the CP3 pump, I didn't own the truck when it went out, and it needed to be replaced. And the number one lesson I could tell you is find one, a reputable shop, reputable, if I can say that word correctly, and number two, make sure that you know somebody who has gone to them, like you have a frame of reference for that shop. There are a lot of jacklegs out there doing maintenance. They call themselves a diesel shop. They know that somebody's going to come in there, and they're real good at putting on an intake, or they're real good at putting on vent shades and roll bars and a new ranch hand bumper. We're a truck accessory company. And then they want to try and build themselves as a performance shop, and they start getting into the motors. And so, yeah, we'll do all your head studs for you, and we'll do this and we'll do that. Next thing you know, your motor's toast, or your truck is toast because they put on the extreme race tune on your truck, and it blew your transmission out because they did nothing to protect the transmission. So the diesel community is full of a lot of good people, and it's full of a lot of flat out douchebags. And a flat out douchebag shop did the work on this truck. So what they did is they put a brand new CP3 pump on it, but they did no other maintenance. They did not check the injectors. They did not check the sensors. They put the original fuel control actuator back on that was 200,000 miles old. The pressure sensor is the same original one. They may or may not, I can't tell because it's a stainless steel part anyway. They may have changed the pressure relief valve on the top of the common rail. I can't verify that. The bottom line is, make sure that when you pay $3,000 to $5,000 worth for maintenance for one component for one problem, that problem is fixed. No one should be paying that kind of money to get a truck that drops 3 injectors 3 days later. I'm not mad about it because I got a heck of a deal on a truck that's worth 25 grand. I paid 11,000 for the truck, and I'm doing the injectors, which is a little bit of money. I got to do the tires, I got to do an alignment, I got to do some brake work. But I don't have $12,000 worth of work I got to do if I buy the parts and I do the work myself. If I got to take it to a shop and get another CP3 pump on it, yeah, then I'll be a little upset. I'll do it. I don't want to, but I'll do it. I don't think I need a new CP3 pump. The truck starts. It's got the P0088 code on it because it's got high rail pressure. Took the fuel control actuator off, and it is 200,000 miles old. I don't know if that's what was causing the problem and why they thought it needed to be replaced in the first place. I don't know if the injectors were going out. I don't know. No. I don't know. But I'll tell you, I changed out the injectors and it starts right up. And then it goes into weird idle and it kicks a bunch of codes. So what I'm thinking is, it's not the injectors. I would have changed the injectors anyway. They're easy enough to change. They're not that hard. It's done and over, and now I got new injectors. The bottom line is, make sure that you know what you're getting into if you're taking it to a shop. Make sure they have some sort of reputation. If you know anybody, if you can find anybody that has dealt with that particular shop before, please do. One tactic that some of these shops use, and it's a really, really nasty marketing thing. It's like the worst tactic I've ever seen, and I've seen it a lot, is they'll go in there. There are shops out there. I'm not saying this is every shop, and I'm not saying it's all that common, but I have seen, and I have had to fix work for other people where it was something, they took their truck in something simple, and all of a sudden they've got this cascading effect of problems right after they get it fixed. And I've literally seen a truck be sabotaged. A diesel truck was sabotaged by the shop, so they would bring it back to that shop and pay for more. That went into a really odd legal thing, of course, as it should have. The shop got sued and whatever, but there are shops out there that will take you for a ride if you don't know the first thing about a diesel motor. Educate yourself as best you can before you get into it. Go out on YouTube, go out online, and look at some of these forums. These forums are full of people that know the information. They've fixed it. They've had these problems. You can end up chasing a bunch of codes around and just throwing parts at a truck. But the bottom line is, some of these shops are only going to do the bare minimum for the maximum amount of money. You're going to get the minimum amount of value for the maximum amount of cost. And this is just such a tragedy that everyday people are getting ripped off. And the guy I bought this truck from, he's a salt of the earth. He would literally give me the shirt off his back if I needed it. I just have to ask. He's that good of a human being. Like a truly good human being. And he did not deserve to have this happen to him with this truck. he ended up taking a loss on the truck, of course, because what he paid for it, all the money he put into it, and then he sold it to me for less than what he even owed. He ended up actually paying the bank after I paid him. I paid him my $11,000, then he went and paid it off so I could get the title. So this was a total loss for him. It's buyer beware when you buy products and services from these shops. If you call up Thoroughbred Diesel and you say, "Hey, I've got these issues going on, and I got this problem with my component," they'll talk to you on the phone. Thoroughbred Diesel is probably one of the most reputable places. I've never been there, but I've ordered a whole bunch of stuff from them. Some of the best prices, some on the internet. Their deals, their sales are amazing. A lot of times they'll do Labor Day sales and this sale and that sale, Christmas sale, Black Friday stuff. It's amazing. Another thing that is wrong with this truck, it's got 3 different exhaust systems on it. Thankfully, they're all 4-inch, but there are 3 different exhausts on it. So I solved that problem by buying a new exhaust. The dustpan didn't come with it. So I'm gonna do a turbo back exhaust on it because somebody decided to put 3 or 4 different exhaust systems on it, and it right now whatever piece is missing out of it, it's broken. There's a single pipe that goes from the turbo about almost to the middle of the cab on this mega cab. So when I put the new turbo on, I went to put the exhaust together, and the exhaust pieces, they meet, but they don't slip fit. They just touch the edges of the pipes, just touch. And again, that's such a dumb way to do business, and it's unnecessary. These people are getting ripped off, and you just need to be buyer beware. So thanks for watching. Again, like and subscribe. I'm gonna get more diesel content. I'm gonna start doing mega cab stuff. So this truck, mega cab stuff, and then I'm going to be doing more of the Chevy stuff. The Chevy's been on hold because of COVID, and I know that sounds really weird, but I could park this truck in my driveway with the HOA and not get yelled at. I cannot park the other truck here. And there's no way they would throw a fit just because it's a commercial looking truck, because it's got the work bed on it, and it's massive, of course, but this is a normal pickup truck. It doesn't have a work bed on it. So the HOA is not going to throw a fit. It barely fits in my driveway anyway, so, but there'll be more content coming out for both. I'm going to label them both. I don't want to start a 3rd gen channel. There's plenty of that. I'm just going to do my own content on my own channel and deal with it. But buyer beware. Do not allow yourself to be taken for a ride by some of these sharp practitioners that think that their business model is going to last, because it takes one smart person and a lawyer to shut them down. So anyway, stay safe out there. I know COVID is hopefully coming to an end, but it's still a real threat. The president was just announced that he and his wife both have it. If you want to see what real hate looks like, go look at his Twitter feed. His announcement on Twitter has probably the most grotesque display of hatred, and I'm not necessarily a Trump fan one way or the other, but the president is a human being, and nobody deserves that kind of hate, no matter what. So anyway, stay safe out there. COVID is still a threat. Don't let anybody rip you off. Like and subscribe. See ya.